Hi, today's video is a quick ramble about some skincare that I've been trialling. For the last 10 days or so, I think it's a bit over 10 days actually, I've been trialling basically a new routine from Clinique Skincare. And when I say new routine, it's new to me this time around. And the main new thing is actually this, which is the Clinique Sonic Care Cleansing Brush, or cleansing system. So I always forget the sort of formal name for it. I would call it the Clinique Cleansing Sonic Brush, or Clinique Sonic Cleansing Brush. Either way, it's a bit of a tongue twister. But basically this, and I've been using this in combination with the Three Step skincare. Three Step skincare is definitely not a new routine. It's not new to me. It's one that I've used in the past and I've always really enjoyed actually. But the whole new thing, I guess, is adding in the new little techie gadget to help with the cleansing side of things. Before I talk about the gadget though, I will run you through the skincare products that I've been using, and then I'll talk about the gadget and kind of how they've worked. Then the Three Step skincare, which is a sort of an oldie but a goodie from Clinique. It's one that, as with any skincare routine, some are going to love it, some it's just not going to work for quite as well. For me, when I've tried it in the past, and I'm going to put a link to the previous times when I've reviewed it below, it's just always been a really good, consistent skincare routine. My skin's always been quite happy with it. It's never really dried out or never gone really oily, it's never broken out. It just keeps my skin nice and consistently happy, which for me is absolutely exactly what I want. I want it to just be consistent. I don't want any dramatic changes, because it tends to be dramatic changes that you try and avoid in skincare. But this time around, the only thing that's new about it is I've been using it's number one, I believe it is. It's the one for dry and, yeah, very dry and dry skin. So my skin is on the dry side. So I've been using the Liquid Facial Soap Extra Mild, not the Liquid Extra Facial Soap Mild that I keep trying to call it for some reason, which is basically the creamy cleanser, which again, I really like this. It's a really nice sort of autumn winter cleanser because it's a bit richer than the sort of foaming sorts that they offer. So it's one that you kind of you can massage into skin, really like lift and sort of start to dissolve the makeup, and then you can add in the brush to kind of give it that extra boost. But more about that in a minute. Then I would follow with the clarifying lotion number one, which is again for the one for dry and very dry skin. Again, I love having a cleanser type step in there, not cleanser, what am I on about? Exfoliator slash toner step in there, because I find them really refreshing, and I really I'm just a big fan of them. I think they feel really nice to use, so I will always use it partly out of habit, partly out of you've just got certain preferences to different textures and stuff that really works for you, and for me having a toner slash exfoliator in there is a really essential step. Then of course the final step is the famous Clinique Dramatically Different Moisturising lotion, and that's Lotion Plus because they reformulated it last year. I always forget the plus. This is the sort of real classic Clinique product with the yellow, the yellow colour that's just so familiar. It's a really nice light product but really nice and hydrating. It's one of those ones that kind of ticks all the boxes whatever your skin type is. So if you're dry, it's really hydrating, but if you're oily, it's also really light at the same time. So it can kind of work for everybody. The only thing I would say is that, and again this is partially out of habit and sort of preferences to textures, I like to add an extra moisturiser when I'm using this routine at night, just because I want something a little bit more hydrating. So at those times I tend to opt for something like the Moisture Surge range that Clinique do, which I'm a big fan of. I really like that stuff. So those are the products that I've been using, but the main step that's kind of really relevant for this little video is this brush and this cleanser. The two of these together do make a really nice combination. First off, this is really nice and creamy. It really does help lift the makeup off. So I was saying before, the kind of routine I go through is using this, really massaging it into skin, just using my fingers to start with, and then I'll bring in the brush and kind of really help to work it in, like into the corners, move it out, and this kind of helps to lift the cleanser off along with the grime. The one thing I do at the moment, which is pretty much just out of like my own personal preference and habit, is I'll do a double cleanse with this. So I'll do it once and then use this, and then I'll do it over again, just to really make sure my skin's completely and utterly clear afterwards. When I've been thinking about sort of what it is about this that I like or don't like, the main thing that I've decided about this that I think is the major bonus is the fact that you really spend that time kind of focusing on cleansing. You really pay attention to it and you make sure you do it properly, which it's much like, say, an electric toothbrush for the face, which makes it sound really bizarre, but it is the sort of little gadget that you add into your routine that it just means you focus on it properly when you're doing the cleansing routine, and whether you do a single or a double cleanse, with this you're really going to just sort of concentrate on working it into those corners and making it really work for you, which I think is really important, because it just means that whatever skincare you're using, you're putting it on a clean face, so it's bound to be that little bit more effective. Lastly, which I can't remember if I mentioned this or not, but lastly with the brush, there's the two types of bristles which make a difference for the different types of the face. The white ones are the slightly softer, smoother ones. Green are ever so slightly more firm, and then they form into a slight point, which means that they can really sort of get into those sort of crevices and the shapes around the face to make sure it does a really good job of cleansing. It's really lightweight. So in the time I've used this, I haven't had to recharge it at all, which is a major plus point, because that's when I tend to fall out of the routine of using gadgets in, say, cleansing, at the point where you've got to put it somewhere else to charge it, and then I tend to just forget about it. This one I haven't had to do that yet, so the fact that the battery lasts is a major plus for me. So yeah, so far, last 10 days, skin's feeling pretty good. I'm going to keep going and see how it works out, but let me know what you think of either Clinique 3 Step skincare or the cleansing brush, the idea of adding a little gadget like that to your routine. Love to know what everyone thinks, so please leave a comment, and thanks ever so much for watching.